public service message from ABC.
The end of World War II remembered tomorrow on ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
A former Dallas district judge is on the other side of the bench in a sexual misconduct case. Police in DeSoto make good on threats and take action against loitering teens. Plus, a new crisis for Bill Schrader. And part one of a special report on singles. All next on the News 8 Update.
Tonight is unmistakably.
Hey, let's go to my place for dinner.
Tonight is unmistakably.
I thought this was your place.
Tonight is unmistakably.
This better be good.
Tonight is unmistakably. Tonight is inescapably. Tonight is unmistakably.
You know what's missing?
What?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Steak and ale.
Every day, people ask Bo Pilgrim what makes his chicken so lean and clean.
I'm dedicated to better chicken.
They're raised on Bo's low-calorie feed and pure spring water.
It's a mind-boggling meal.
Every step of the way, Bo makes sure his chicken is plump and juicy, not fat and yellow.
Nobody likes a fat chicken.
Pilgrim's Pride is always better.
With or without the bone.
Demand Pilgrim's Pride. It's the leaner chicken.
From the egg to the leg.
Why choose Cozy 105 over Easy 100?
I choose Cozy because they play a better variety of music.
It's easier to relax with Cozy, I think.
Cozy seems a little classier.
That's an easy choice. Cozy has style.
The music's more up to date.
And Cozy's just right when I'm working or relaxing.
Well, I choose Cozy because it helps me unwind.
Cozy FM 105. Easy listening, easy choice.
Well, easy's okay, but Cozy's easier. Did I say that right?
The spirit of Texas on air.
This is the News 8 Update. With Tracy Rowlett, John Criswell, Troy Dungan with weather, and Dale Hansen on sports.
Exactly 1 month ago, the world's longest surviving artificial heart patient made history when he checked out of his hospital room. But tonight, Bill Schrader is back at the Humana Heart Institute in Louisville facing a serious complication.
His doctors now say he has suffered a brain hemorrhage, but they don't know what caused it. Schrader was rehospitalized for tests after becoming very weak. Tonight, he is listed in critical but stable condition. Chief artificial heart surgeon Dr. William DeVries said he believes the bleeding in the brain has stopped, but he would not say if Schrader's life is in danger. A hospital spokesman said it's too early to tell if there is any brain damage. Schrader has been living in a specially equipped halfway house across the street from the Louisville hospital since April the 6th.
Former Dallas Judge D. Brown Walker has been found not guilty tonight of assaulting a lawyer by intimately touching her. The verdict by a visiting judge came early in the trial and shocked many in the courtroom. But Walker still faces another trial, as Channel 8's Bill Brown reports.
Judge D. Brown Walker, at 72, the most colorful figure down at the county courthouse, always quick with a joke or a controversial ruling. But last fall, the fun faded as the 21-year bench veteran was indicted on 3 counts of sexual misconduct. A lawyer and 5 female employees of the district clerk's office accused the judge of fondling them or of making sexual propositions. The judge said it was all politics, just a setup to hurt him in the coming election. After the indictment at the polls, Judge Walker lost, defeated by a young female lawyer. On the first day of the first trial, 28-year-old Nancy Thomas, a defense attorney, took the stand. She said in 1983 she had a case in Walker's court. She testified that repeatedly the judge told her that he loved her. He called her on the telephone all the time and even came by her home. One day, she said, Walker called her back into his chambers. She testified that the judge put his hands on her neck and arms, saying, "Y'all look like you need a neck rub." Thomas said, "I don't think my boyfriend would like that." Walker, "I can find some places to put sugar on your neck that your boyfriend can never find." Thomas, "I told him I was uncomfortable with that and it was best to leave." Judge Walker, "If you will go with me to a judges conference in Reno, I could take time off from the judges meetings and we can make love together the entire time." Thomas, "I told him I am not interested." The state rested its case and Walker's lawyers routinely moved for acquittal. Visiting Judge Thomas Croft stunned the courtroom by granting it, ruling Walker not guilty. Later, Judge Croft told the attorneys they didn't prove Walker intended to do anything wrong. The former judge still faces trial on other sexual misconduct charges. 2 clerks claim Walker touched their breasts and buttocks. But in the light of this not guilty ruling, prosecutors say they are taking a hard look at their evidence in those cases. Bill Brown, Channel 8 News.
In southeast Tarrant County, 2 trucks collided and burst into flames this afternoon. One truck driver died in that fire that consumed both rigs. The other driver jumped clear of the blazing wreckage and escaped unhurt. It happened on a narrow 2-lane county road near Mansfield. A flatbed truck carrying a frame house came around a curve as a tractor-trailer truck was heading the other way. Apparently, the house was sticking out into the oncoming lane, and the truck crashed into it. One witness said a worse tragedy was averted when a Mansfield school bus swerved around the moving house, narrowly missing it. The names of those involved still are not being released.
Dallas police have made no arrests so far in today's double homicide of a Pleasant Grove woman and her 8-year-old son. Myra Pitts and her son Chris were found this morning stabbed and beaten to death. Mrs. Pitts is the sister of a Dallas police officer. Neighbors at the St. Augustine Apartments reported no noise or anything unusual last night when police believe the murders occurred. Police tonight have no suspects but are looking for the woman's ex-husband for questioning.
In Austin, Texas senators have passed their version of the state spending plan for the next 2 years. The Senate budget adds up to nearly $37 billion, about $400 million more than the House version. One major difference between the House and Senate budgets, senators did not include any pay raises for state employees. The bill now must go to a conference committee where an attempt will be made to work out a compromise. Senators did allow for a bigger increase in welfare payments to families with dependent children. The Senate would pay for its higher spending by raising fees higher than the House plans, particularly for car inspections, court filings, and oil drilling.
And again in Dallas, some surprises at the City Council's inaugural ceremony today. A master of ceremonies upstaged the mayor by calling for the city to pull pension funds out of South Africa. And the City Council chose City Councilwoman Diane Ragsdale as its deputy mayor pro tem. Channel 8's Jim Fry tonight has a report.
Mayor Stark Taylor said all those things you might expect to hear at a Dallas inauguration about business and commerce and growth. But he also pointed out what he called the mandate of the voters.
The people of Dallas want us to responsibly manage our rapid growth.
But it was the mayor's hand-picked master of ceremonies who stole the show, urging the city to withdraw all pension investments from South Africa.
If we indeed aspire to be an international city, it is incumbent upon us to realize the ramifications of the things that we do in this city around the world.
In the council chambers, it was a game of musical chairs as the new group got organized, returning Annette Strauss as its mayor pro tem and picking South Dallas Councilwoman Diane Ragsdale as the deputy mayor pro tem.
This move, in my opinion, would be the beginning of minimizing the polarization which happens between which now exists between the North and the South, as well as black, brown, and white.
The mayor also might hope this eases the tensions, Taylor asking the city council for a term of cooperation, not conflict. Jim Fry, Channel 8 News.
In New Orleans tomorrow, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals will hear arguments about expanding the Interstate Highway 30 overhead in Fort Worth. For more than 2 years now, traffic jams have gotten worse while the arguments continue about what should happen to the downtown freeway. The Highway Department wants to expand it from 4 to 8 lanes, but a group called I-Care wants the overhead torn down and replaced with one which runs below ground level. The Highway Department won the first round in federal court. The Court of Appeals should have a ruling in a few weeks.
Angry parents whose teens were arrested and jailed in DeSoto for criminal trespass Friday evening gathered tonight to voice their complaints before the DeSoto City Council. Channel 8's Jane Peterson is with us tonight with more on that story. Jane?
Tracy, DeSoto police say they had no other legal recourse available but to arrest the teens for criminal trespass. Teens, they say, who live mainly outside DeSoto, but come in droves to cruise on Hampton Road and then loiter in private parking lots. While parents agree there is a problem, they argue that this time the police went too far.
I'm worried about his criminal record he has now. He's a senior in high school, and he's...
Elizabeth Lloyd is one of many parents who gathered up to an hour early for the City Council's special session, all very worried about the prospect of permanent criminal records following their children. Joining them as well were 2 of the 48 teens who were subsequently jailed overnight for criminal trespass.
I mean, they said there were signs up, but I never seen the sign. I didn't even know there was against a lot of parking on that parking lot. It was a church parking lot.
You know, it wasn't any big thing. They could have warned us for one thing.
Inside, city officials told the crowd that while they understand the concern about lasting criminal records, there is nothing they can do. It now rests, they say, with the Dallas County District Attorney.
They have not been enforcing that particular law. They've been warning, and they've been warning for 4 years, and I think 4 years worth of warning is enough.
Joe O'Brien, who heads up the DeSoto Police, says all teens arrested on Friday were loitering on Hampton Road in lots with these signs, stating that violators will be prosecuted under Texas state law. According to many parents, though, some of the signs, like this one at Winn-Dixie, are not easy to read, one requirement of the law. This mother, whose daughter was arrested there, says she is seeking legal recourse.
I'm blaming DeSoto because they just picked anybody. They didn't care who or what. They were out to do a job, and they did it very well. They took innocent people with them.
DeSoto police concede that many of those arrested from schools throughout the area are very respectable teenagers. Teens, they hope, who will now find something else to do and put everyone on notice that easy loitering on Hampton Road is now over. Tonight, while the DeSoto City Council would not offer to help drop the charges, one official did offer parents some consolation. He said that often the district attorney will put such young offenders on probation for 1 year and then drop their records altogether. John?
All right, Jane, thank you.
Just ahead on tonight's update, new developments in an insider stock trading case.
Two prominent Dallas businessmen settle with the federal government. The price tag is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And is television news too violent? In Matt Quinn's Chronicle tonight, some of our viewers say it is.
Plus, North Texas singles play the mating game. We'll have part 1 of a special series.
AT&T says they can save you 40% if you call after 5 p.m. NCI can save you more than that. AT&T says they can save you 60% after 11 p.m. or weekends. MCI can save you more. And during the daytime, AT&T doesn't offer any savings. Now, if MCI always costs less, how can AT&T claim any savings at all? Beats me.
Call MCI and then call anywhere across Texas and across the country.
Meeting at 11. Meeting at 11.
You're still juggling a checking account, savings account, bill paying, and running to the bank?
Uh-huh.
With University Savings Paymaster, you can pay bills, balance your account, and more by phone.
Oh, really?
You can get cash at our automatic tellers round the clock.
No kidding.
And earn 5.25% interest or higher.
Now, this is a lot easier.
Now you're catching on. University Savings Paymaster, the one for your money.
We've asked this man to determine the difference between these two toasters, and it isn't an easy task. After all, they're the very same brand, the very same model, same color, same features, same everything. What he doesn't know is that the toaster on the left is from a leading department store. The one on the right is from Wilson's and costs much less. Gee, do you think we should tell him that, like everything you buy at Wilson's, price is the difference? The only difference? Nah.
As the co-star of the hit series Simon & Simon, Jameson Parker has become one of television's hottest leading men. Tuesday at 4, join PM Magazine behind the scenes to meet this handsome actor and find out how he differs from the clean-cut character he plays.
Lonnie Anderson made me take my pants off.
Plus, PM visits a television plant to watch as enthusiastic employees put their product to the test.
Can you imagine getting paid to do this?
It's PM Magazine, tomorrow at 4, followed by Entertainment Tonight on 8.
Former Deputy Defense Secretary Paul Thayer and Dallas stockbroker Billy Bob Harris have agreed to pay the federal government several $100,000 to settle charges of insider stock trading. Attorneys for the men confirmed the settlement tonight but refused to name the exact figure. One government prosecutor says the settlement will range above $300,000. Channel 8's Scott Pelley reports.
In March, Thayer and Harris pleaded guilty to charges of obstructing justice. They admitted lying to Securities and Exchange Commission investigators. The initial investigation resulted in an SEC suit filed in 1984. It covers a time when Thayer was chairman of Dallas-based LTV and on the boards of Anheuser-Busch and Allied Corporation. In 1981 and 82, these firms had secret plans to acquire other companies. The SEC says Thayer revealed the plans to his friend Harris, who in turn told other defendants. Those with the inside information were able to purchase stock in the firms that were to be acquired before the acquisitions were announced. When the acquisition plans were made public, the price of the stocks went up. and according to the SEC, the defendants made $1.9 million. Now, after months of negotiations, Thayer and Harris have agreed to pay the government several $100,000 to settle the case. The commissioners of the SEC must approve the settlement, and the exact amount to be paid will be known then. Thayer and Harris are scheduled to be sentenced Wednesday on the obstruction charges. Their attorneys argue that neither man should go to jail. The judge has received letters supporting Thayer from numerous businessmen and politicians, including former President Gerald Ford and Senator Barry Goldwater. Today, the U.S. prosecutor in the case filed papers encouraging the judge to jail both men. Anything less, said the prosecutor, would be unjust. Each man faces up to 5 years in prison. Scott Pelley, Channel 8 News.
The Soviet Union today delivered its harshest criticism yet of President Reagan's trip to West Germany. The United States and West Germany have called the visit a reconciliation between the two countries, but today a Moscow newspaper called it an attempted reconciliation with fascism. The Soviet Union lost 20 million lives in World War II. Before leaving West Germany today, President Reagan gave a strongly anti-Soviet speech in which he called for the reunification of Germany. The Soviets prefer a divided Germany that can never again pose a military threat. But Mr. Reagan told a crowd of 8,000 students the future belongs to the free, and he challenged the students to create a new Europe. And controversy followed President Reagan to Spain as well, where there is growing opposition to that country's involvement in the NATO alliance. The President and Mrs. Reagan were greeted at the airport by King Juan Carlos and Queen Sofia. Out of sight and earshot, a small group of Nicaraguans protested the U.S. trade embargo against their country.
Back in the United States, heralded by twin sonic booms, the Space Shuttle Challenger came back to Earth this morning with its 7 astronauts, 2 monkeys, and 24 rats. NASA officials are calling the 7-day, $220 million mission an outstanding success. But its crew unwittingly also triggered a phony crime wave in Los Angeles. Challenger's sonic booms set off burglar alarms all across the city.
Well, it really hit the fan while they were up there, too, though, didn't it? Because
it certainly did. We
problems.
discussed that last week. I remember we said we were going to send Charles Duncan up to investigate since he found rodent droppings in those restaurants, and Chuck told me that the next day that's all he heard about, and he's not going.
Good thing.
We'll have the weather, which looks very nice. No droppings at all. Rain in just a moment.
Open Denny's menu. You'll find something unexpected. Oh. Like chicken cacciatore. No. Sure, and steak Dijon. Fact is, all 6 of our new dinners are surprising. Come, see for yourself.
Are you sure we're at Denny's?
Denny's, where you'll like our prices and you'll be surprised by our new dinners. Try one and get dessert free.
These men are on their way to work. Their office, the Pennzoil Penske Super Truck. Inside, the car that won the Indy 500 in '84. The car that's going for it again. Only one motor oil makes it inside this race car. Pennzoil.
Around here, Pennzoil protection is part of the equipment.
There's a name recognized the world over.
That's 2 for Hong Kong.
It's used more than any other.
Right, 9 a.m.
For travel, entertaining, shopping, and cash.
Curtains at 8? 8, right. No, 9. Sorry, my wife. Never mind.
Need a hand?
I could use 3. No, that's 4 nights.
Be decisive.
Visa is welcome around the world.
I married you, didn't I?
It's all you need.
This week on Entertainment Tonight, it's a stargazer's delight. Kick off your week with Hollywood's ovation to dance legend Gene Kelly. Then take the high road to London with TV hunk Tom Selleck. Next, find out who's the boss and who's the wise guy. Make a house call with an ex-MASH medic and let yourself go with a lady cop. Plus, catch showbiz at its brightest. From the sunny beaches to the swinging bashes at the Cannes Film Festival. All this week on Entertainment Tonight.
After the News 8 update.
The weather action around the country tonight is along and on both sides of a cool front that's not going to get to us, but is in our picture. At least part of it's in Texas tonight. Some rather severe weather in the top of the Texas Panhandle. Here's the way things looked at 7 o'clock. You can almost trace this front in this band of cloudiness running from east to west across the country, and we're kind of in the edge of the cloud pattern. Sometimes we see a cloud or two, sometimes not. That'll be the case for the next couple of days. Right now, it looks as though we'll not be seeing this front or the rain associated with it. But let's run the pictures during the evening. And what we'll see, the most development is going to be right along here, top of the Texas Panhandle, eastern Colorado, Kansas, and Oklahoma. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in just this cloud area right here. The top of the Texas Panhandle, the 10 counties along the top, over into Oklahoma, and then Kansas and back into the southeast corner of Colorado. Let's zero in on our part of the country to get a little better look at where this activity is. Here it is right here. The 4 counties here right around Dalhart have a severe thunderstorm warning till 11 o'clock. Golf ball-sized hail just north of Dalhart a short while ago. And this watch area that I mentioned, which covers just this area of cloudiness here, it goes till midnight. But that's on the other side of the front. See, the upper flow comes up from the southwest with instability, in fact, a pretty strong impulse here. But then the upper flow continues off toward the east, running just parallel to the front. It needs some support to push it down, which it doesn't have. So we'll continue with our southerly winds and partly sunny, partly cloudy skies. Temperatures at 10 o'clock tonight, and there they are. 60s around the front and in the heavy cloud areas and 70s otherwise. Dallas-Fort Worth has 73 at last hour, 62% humidity. Barometer's 29.93 steady. Wind is southeast at 8. No rain today. Today's high temperature probably get up to 84, low was 61. A little bit above normal in both cases. There are the records, the air quality readings today. Once again, we're in the moderate range with some ozone buildup that we begin to see this time of year because of the warmth and the sunshine. The pollen is mostly fungus today, but 403 grains of grass and weeds per cubic meter also significant to the nose and lungs. All right, here's the way things are now around the country tonight. These are the current temperatures. 59 there at Denver, where there has been some rain activity, cooling things off a bit, but only 52 at Fargo, North Dakota, so it's not all that much colder north of the front. But take the temperatures out, and there we see here's the front, here's the thunderstorm activity. Now let's look at tomorrow morning in our area. About 64, the front stays about where it is, the rain mostly north of it. By noon tomorrow, we'll be up to 76, should be partly sunny, winds southerly 10 to 15, and tomorrow afternoon's high will probably be about 85, some thunder showers possibly in Arkansas and Louisiana. On Wednesday, morning low of 64, afternoon high of 85, a day for us just about like tomorrow. Here's the forecast then. Fair tonight, low 64. Tuesday and Wednesday, partly sunny, mid-80s daytime, mid-60s night. And then on Thursday, partly sunny, maybe even a little warmer, about 88. Friday, possible thunderstorms with a new cool front from the west, and a little cooler that night. Saturday, variable clouds and not so warm with a high of 82. And that's the weather. See you tomorrow.
Getting a little dry out there suddenly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Troy. More than 75% of all adults question the credibility of the media, and 20% don't believe most news reports at all. That according to a report by the American Society of Newspaper Editors. Don Hewitt, executive producer of 60 Minutes on CBS, said the study was a waste of $100,000. But other journalists admit there could be problems with how much news judgment is trusted to less seasoned reporters.
Among the letters that came to Channel 8 News last week, there were 2 that drew special attention. In Matt Quinn's Chronicle tonight, some carefully reasoned criticism from friends upset about how we report violence and tragedy. Matt titles this chronicle, Judgment Call.
Dear Sir, please consider this letter my formal protest to the segment aired on the above reference.
In her letter, Kay Redburn complains about the Channel 8 News coverage last Monday at 6 p.m. of a tragic accident in which a mother and child were killed. In particular, Mrs. Redburn was offended by a picture of an infant's car seat.
For what seemed an eternity, the camera centered on the broken and bloody infant seat that had held the unfortunate child.
I often have questions on whether we should show the accidents, these sorts of things at all. I would much rather show a car seat than I would show a body bag. To me, a car seat conveys more and in a less offensive way than a body bag or something like that that you would use to depict that somebody had died there.
Why did you include that shot?
Probably because of any of the shots that we had from the field, that shot spoke of the tragedy of that accident more than any other.
Jim Fry's decision to include that shot was a judgment call, not referred to news management. But in management's view, Fry was correct.
Would you have approved it?
Yes.
Why?
I have 2 children. They ride in car seats. When I saw it on the air that night, I was horrified, repulsed, lots of emotions. I thought of my children in car seats. But then I thought, Well, I should be angry at the person who caused the accident, not at the photographer who shot it, not at the editor who put that shot in the story, not at the producer who is running that on her newscast.
At 10 o'clock that night, last Monday night, that same story was one of several included in one segment dealing with violence and tragedy.
He was shot twice in the face and died.
Find out who shot and killed.
They were killed instantly.
Rockwall Funeral Services will
They are looking for the fourth victim of a tragic drowning early Sunday morning.
That segment of the Channel 8 10 o'clock news drew this letter from Nanette Gray.
I was very disturbed to watch your 10 p.m. news on April 29, 1985. I have always disliked how TV reports death and murder, but this time was too much. You reported at least 5 different untimely deaths back to back, all in a matter of 5 to 7 minutes.
In fact, that sequence of stories accounted for 10 deaths in 4.5 minutes. Carolyn Fessler produced that newscast.
But television it needs to flow. It needs to be linear. It is not a newspaper that you can jump back and forth if you don't like what you see. You have to try to keep people's attention, or else all your communication is lost. That is why sometimes violence is grouped together.
Carolyn Fessler's decision to group those stories dealing with violence and tragedy was not called into question by Channel 8 management. Many producers, perhaps most, would agree with her. Nanette Gray does not.
I think you are so busy making your news more interesting than anyone else's that you've forgotten to listen to what we hear.
Matt Quinn, Channel 8 News.
Australia's flamboyant media magnate Rupert Murdoch is planning a TV takeover in the United States. Metro Media today agreed to sell all 7 of its major market television stations to Murdoch for more than $2 billion. The deal includes KRLD TV Channel 33 in Dallas and another Metro Media station in Houston. And Mobil Oil is getting out of the department store business by making its Montgomery Ward division an independent unit. Although Ward's boasted a profit in 1983, the nation's 6th largest retailer suffered 3 years of losses before that. Weather seems perfect for the Byron Nelson Golf Classic underway at Las Colinas this week. Dale says the condition of the course is perfect, too. Sports is next.
A few months back, Musair was a great airline with a lousy schedule. So we fixed that, and some other things. And so far this year, we've flown about 700,000 people. But just wait till you see what we're up to now. We're already putting these first-class seats in the whole front half of every Musair jet. They're extra wide, 2 by 2, with 6 more inches of legroom. They'll come with complimentary pastries and snacks, free cocktails anytime. We'll even throw in a hot towel with your morning paper. It's Musair's new preferred service, and it's only going to cost about that much more than our regular low fares. The service starts June 4th. But until then, these new seats won't cost anything extra. It's Musair Preferred Service, and it's everything you'd expect from a first-class seat, except the stupid price. Oh, and wait till next week when I'll tell you about the back half of the plane.
Amy, it's me. The car broke out, but don't panic. I'm at AMCO. I'll be there for our transmission wedding. You know I love you. These guys are experts. This is the AMCO manager. We'll fix it right. Don't worry.
At AMCO, we care as much about people as we do transmissions. It's what we call AA service, and it's why we fix more transmissions than anyone else.
Amy, he's on his way. Congratulations.
Look in the white pages for 20 AMCO Metroplex locations where you'll get AA service at AA MCO.
Great stories to read and all the program information you need in the new issue of TV Guide. That's entertainment.
I remember the criticism last year was kind of stinging about the condition of the golf course at the Byron Nelson.
Well, again, somewhat justified, but I would give anything to have that job. If I had that ability, I'm gone. You guys are on your own after that, I guarantee you. Pro golfers very seldom play anywhere without a complaint about the golf course. Las Colinas Sports Club in bad shape last year because of the bad winter, but it does appear to be in great shape now. Some will probably complain anyway. Here's Tony Martinez.
Putting on the final touches at the Las Colinas Sports Club, a golf course with green greens and rough roughs. It is a complete makeover from last year's course that drew severe criticism from almost everyone.
And what I'm afraid is going to happen if this goes on and they don't have good fairways, and like I said a moment ago, I'm just doing it for the benefit of the tournament, you're going to have trouble feeling the field here. And I hate to see that because Dallas works extremely hard and it's for a great charity. But they're going to have to do something about their golf courses.
But as the touring pros began to arrive this afternoon, their praise for the course was as strong as their